Hey everybody, welcome into GoBlueRaiders.tv and into the Ascend Federal Credit Union studio. And normally we call this the drill. This will kind of be the state of the athletic department today as Chris Massaro, Director of Athletics, joins us. And Chris, this is the time of year when we typically get together. Sometimes we do it all at one time and shoot 2 or 3 versions of this because there's always a lot to talk about. But we're shooting one today to kind of wrap up the 2011-2012 year. And in the weeks ahead, we'll be looking ahead toward 2012-2013.
Yeah, and I thought we had a very good year, Chip. I was really proud. Obviously, you look back over the year, and there's a lot of highlights. And you start with really the 2 basketball teams. I mean, I think what fans will really pull out of this year is the incredible run. I mean, like the women to go undefeated through the conference and to get an at-large bid in the NCAA tournament. That speaks volumes. We just got the grades back on the women's team, and they had a 3.44 semester GPA. So here's a team that goes 16-0 in conference play and has a 3.44 cumulative GPA. So I was thrilled about that.
Yeah, I would think any AD would.
Yeah, I mean, that's just exactly what you want. And of course, the men's team had their incredible run, and we all remember the NIT and the great win at Tennessee and the great win here against Marshall. And so we had a lot of fun this year, and all of our sports have really done well. This is the 4th year in a row we've won the Bubas Cup, which is our #1 goal. And
it's kind of nice to be able to talk about winning it with a week to go in the baseball season.
It is. It's nice to have it mathematically wrapped, and really when our tennis team won the Sun Belt Conference Tennis Championship, that kind of sealed the deal.
You know, and I was talking on WGNS one afternoon, and I think we kind of pinpointed that first round match when they beat Western. That may have been the actual tipping point for the Bubas Cup.
Yeah, we knew all along that both our men's and women's tennis teams were strong, and that we had a good chance to do well, and so that worked out well for us. I'm excited about that, and of course our 2 golf teams did well too, and so that kind of carried us through. And I'm excited because we've got excellent coaches, and to me that just represents the depth of the program, and all of our kids participate in that. They all should cherish in the victory, and it just shows what we've got some great coaches.
And the goal is always to win conference championships, but even in years where a conference championship's not there, what this shows is the consistent high level of excellence on the playing floor.
Yeah, and our goal, and we really should be competing for conference titles. You know, you can't win them all. We try to, but it's almost impossible to win them all. But in every sport, basically, we are in the conversation for conference titles, and that's where we need to be, and that's where we need to position ourselves. We want to win the conference tournaments, but the other thing that I like about kind of the depth of our program is we've been able to get into the NCAA tournament in a bunch of different sports, not as the AQ, but as an at-large. And to me, that tells us we're doing the right thing scheduling. We're having great regular seasons, and that we are competing nationally. When you get into the national tournament as an at-large bid, that means you're competing well nationally.
I'll give you the $64,000 question just about what you're talking about right there, and I'm sure you've gone over this in your mind many times. An automatic, or rather an at-large bid in the men's NCAA tournament as opposed to a 3-game magical run in the NIT, how do you equate?
Well, and it's a little apples and oranges. Obviously, the goal is to get into the NCAA basketball tournament, and I don't buy the theory that just because you get in, you're one and done. There's all kinds of, even if you go in as a relative poor seed, that there's all kinds of upsets in that tournament. So I don't really buy into that. That's the ultimate goal, is to get into the NCAA tournament. But if you don't get in and you have a great season like this year, it was really a great reward for our kids that they had a great regular season, and they deserved to have meaningful postseason, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, it moved our program forward, the NIT did. So we're very grateful for it, and I think it was a great thing for us.
And Coach Davis and his staff obviously knew what they wanted to do in the NIT, and the guys bought in, and they have to for that to happen.
They do, and it's still a national tournament, and it's got a lot of prestige to it. The other thing that I liked is the way our fans bought into it, and Chip, not enough's been made of this, is that The two highest attended NIT games across the country both involved the Blue Raiders. There was our game at Tennessee, and then there was our game here against Minnesota. So the two highest ones involved the Blue Raiders, and our overall attendance for our home games was second in the country in the NIT. So our fans responded, our players responded, and it was a great event for everybody.
And committee members remember that.
They do, and that helps grow your program, and that's what we need to do.
You mentioned the Bubas Cup, and to have won it for 4 straight years and 8 out of 12 since being in the league, that sometimes you don't hear a lot of schools, talk about the all sports trophy in their league, but that's a priority here.
It is, and I just believe, and I think everybody in our department believes that if you're going to do something, let's do it well. And let's try to excel, and I can't look at one set of athletes and say that their season's not as important as another set of athletes. So all of them are funded enough to be able to win championships and to get out there and compete. So we should, and I think it just shows depth, and in those kids that they work hard. I mean, that the soccer team works hard, and they don't get as much publicity as the basketball or the football team or the baseball team. And some of these kids that need recognition, and that's what I like about the Bubas Cup, is it gives us a collective recognition for all of our sports, because track kids work just as hard as the basketball kids and all of that stuff.
Yeah, and the word student is the first word in student athlete, and recently we were able to honor students for not only their athletic but for their academic ability at the Raiders' Choice Awards. And you mentioned in a meeting the other day that the spring semester was going to be appeared to be a banner year in the classroom.
Yeah, and it looks that way. We're still getting some finality to some of the grades, but as I mentioned, the women's basketball team did well. The football team improved over the fall. The men's basketball team did well. So still kind of sorting through all the sports, and it's important to us to do well in the classroom. What we want to do is, and I've said it time and time again, is want to leave with multiple championship rings in one hand and a diploma in the other, and that's happened with all of our sports. So I'm excited about what we've done academically and athletically.
Recently, the university announced an $80 million capital campaign. There's an athletic piece to that. Kind of tell me where things are right now and what people can look forward to.
Yeah, and I'm excited about the whole university campaign, and I think it was one of the most exciting days I've been a part of here at the university was when they announced it and announced the Woody Miller gift of $10 million to the university, and that was fun. And then a couple of weeks later we break ground on a new science building. So lots of great things are happening at the university, and what I like is that our athletics is part of that tremendous campaign, and we are a department, they are the university, but we've got our needs, and two of our bigger needs that are being addressed through the campaign is a indoor tennis facility, and I'm pleased with the progress it's made. The funding's not complete, but it looks like there's some possibilities where it could really come together. And then, my view, one of our biggest needs is an indoor multi-purpose practice facility, and that would allow us to move the track out of the Murphy Center and make some Murphy Center enhancements to the concourse, and allow all of our athletes a chance to practice in inclement weather, because right now it's difficult for us.
Well, you've said on numerous occasions that's kind of the linchpin in a series of events that would from facilities that would happen.
It's really important to us, and you look around the country and what other places are doing, Chip, and that Florida International builds a new stadium, and North Texas builds a new stadium, and Florida Atlantic builds a new stadium, and Western Kentucky built a new football stadium. And so we need to really address our facilities and look at them with a critical eye, and to see exactly what needs to be addressed. And we're very fortunate because we've got really good bones. We've got the Murphy Center's in great shape. It's 40 years old, but it's a great facility. Floyd Stadium's a great facility. but we still need to be making improvements to all of our infrastructure and not sit idly by while other schools are building and improving.
One thing that has had the Middle Tennessee family very involved in recently was the Tina Stewart,
Right.
the trial. One chapter has come to a close on that.
Yeah, and for me personally, it was really hard to watch and hard to follow, because it opens up a lot of memories that you want to keep concealed, and so I was concerned, and I for our players and the teammates for Tina, and obviously Tina's family, and so we'll be watching them all pretty closely the next few weeks, and to see how they're doing, because that's a difficult process, and but I hope what people were able to see through that process is that, the loving community that MTSU is, and that's one of the things that's really impressed me from really the moment it happened all the way till now, is that how many people have reached out to me across the campus, and how the campus has really bonded together, students, faculty, staff, and said, you know what, we're a community, and we all love each other, and bad things sometimes happen in a nice community, but the aftermath of that's really kind of carried me through, and it's really, that piece of it's been really, really positive.
All right. We will, as we mentioned, we'll talk about a lot of the future in coming weeks, but we will leave it with this. Sunbelt meetings are coming up next week, and there is a changing face in the league.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to the meetings. It'll be interesting, because you've got, obviously, Florida International and North Texas have one more year to be in the conference, so they're transitioning out. And then we've got
Denver's gone.
Denver's, that they'll come and say goodbye, I think, basically. And then we've got new members transitioning in, Texas State and Georgia State, so new commissioner. So it'll be an interesting meeting. It's not going to be the same old spring meeting, so I'm looking forward to them, and we'll give a report when we come back.
Good deal. We'll get that, and we'll delve into other subjects about how Middle Tennessee relates into the national picture of college athletics when you get back.
Absolutely.
All right. Appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
Chris Massaro, Director of Athletics at Middle Tennessee, joins us today here in the Ascend Federal Credit Union studios, and thank you for joining us here on GoBlueRaiders.tv.